What the heck is that fence doing across my driveway? I slam my truck door. Linda adjusts her HOA vest, smiling smugly. Non-compliant gravel. The board voted to restrict access. I step closer. I'm not part of your HOA, Linda. She shrugs. Your driveway disrupts our aesthetic. This is about order. I move into her space. You built that wall on my land. My voice drops. And guess what? I own the road your entire neighborhood uses. Linda's smile falters. That can't be right. I pull out the survey, unfolding it slowly. It is. I tap the paper. And you just trespassed onto the wrong driveway. Her clipboard clatters to the ground. Behind us, curtains twitch across the neighborhood. When I woke up that morning, the world outside my window felt wrong. The sky was its usual dull gray, but something fundamental had shifted. I'd gone to bed with a clear view of my gravel driveway, framed by hedges and the truck I parked every night. But now a 6-foot wall of pressure-treated pine stood cemented right at the mouth of my driveway, blocking my truck like a barricade in a war zone and flipping me the wooden equivalent of a middle finger. Nailed to the center was a neon orange notice. Willow Creek HOA Community Access Restriction, enacted unauthorized driveway surface. My coffee cup clattered against the porch railing as I stepped forward in disbelief. The wall wasn't just there, it was anchored. Concrete footings, lined edges, no gaps. This wasn't an act of vandalism, it was planned. My hands shook, not from fear, but from the sheer idiocy of it all. I didn't live in their HOA, never had. The only reason their cookie-cutter homes even existed was because of the narrow stretch of private road that ran through my land, a road I owned. Their community was built like a leech on a vein I inherited. 3 weeks earlier, I'd had some gravel delivered. Crushed black basalt. Sleek, affordable, durable, looked sharp under moonlight. I laid it down myself, listening to classic rock and sipping lemonade while the sun baked overhead. I wasn't looking to start a fight. It was my land, my driveway, and honestly, the HOA's approved tan blend looked like oatmeal had given up on life. Apparently my gravel offended someone, and not just anyone, Linda Voss. She's the kind of person who thinks clipboards give her divine authority. HOA president for 11 years running, mint green blazers, monogram mugs, passive-aggressive smiles. The kind of woman who would fine a neighbor for planting tulips half an inch outside the flowerbed border. When I saw that wall, I knew this wasn't a mistake. This was Linda flexing, and I wasn't about to let it go. I marched straight to the HOA clubhouse, fists clenched and adrenaline humming in my ears. Linda stood inside, adjusting decorative throw pillows in the foyer. She turned as I entered, not startled in the least. In fact, she looked pleased. "Good morning," I said, voice steady but tight. "Care to explain why my driveway is walled off like a prison yard?" She didn't even blink. Just flipped through her clipboard like she was reading a grocery list. "You were warned. Non-compliant gravel, no edge containment, visual disruption. The board voted unanimously to erect a temporary barrier." I blinked. "You voted to trap me? In my own home?" Linda's smile was thin and venomous. "We take community aesthetics seriously. Your driveway intersects our visual corridor. That subjects you to secondary compliance." "Secondary compliance?" I echoed. She nodded. "It's a thing now." I took a slow, deliberate step forward. "You do realize what you've done is criminal trespass?" She gasped with mock concern. "Oh dear, no need to overreact. You can walk out the back gate, but vehicles must remain until this is resolved." "Impounded," I nearly choked. "It's my driveway." Linda tilted her head. "This is our community. Order must be maintained." I didn't respond. I just turned and walked out. Then I called the sheriff. Deputy Larson, a guy I'd grilled burgers with at the county fair, pulled up 20 minutes later. His cruiser barely fit through the back alley. When he saw the fence, he raised an eyebrow so high it practically disappeared into his hairline. "They blocked your truck over gravel?" I nodded, silent. He inspected the cement footings, took photos, and radioed the station. 10 minutes later, Linda emerged from the clubhouse like she was walking a fashion runway, armed with doctored plat maps and a laminated emergency resolution. Larson sighed. "Unfortunately, looks like a civil matter. File a suit if you want." Linda smirked behind her sunglasses. "Told you. Can't win." She hummed as she walked off, as if she'd just taken first prize in a pie contest, not blocked someone's legal access to their own land. But then I remembered something. Back in the 90s, when I was still mowing lawns and blowing every dime on sodas, my dad bought an odd little parcel, a farm road no one wanted. The same road the subdivision was now built around. The developer, hard up for cash, had sold off the easement. My dad, always a bit of a contrarian, said one day they'll realize we own their front door. I hadn't thought about that in years. Dad passed 5 years ago, but now it felt like a live wire in my memory. I tore through his old filing cabinet, files rustling like leaves in a storm, until I found it. A notarized deed. Easement rights, parcel numbers, clear as day. My dad owned the road, which meant now I did. They thought they'd trapped me, but they just cut off their only exit. I spent the rest of the day prepping, copied the deed, set up a motion-activated camera on the fence, planted no trespassing signs on both sides of the wall. By morning, I had filed a formal cease and desist. Then I hand-delivered it to Linda during her yoga club. She unrolled it like a scroll, and for the first time, her hand trembled. But she recovered quickly. "You don't dictate this neighborhood's future," she snapped. I stared her down. "Linda, I own the road your future drives on." Her mouth opened, then shut. The game had changed. The neighborhood felt different over the next few days. Quieter. Sprinklers hissed. Joggers passed. But the air was thick with tension. Linda went silent. No emails, no passive-aggressive flyers, which frankly was more unsettling than the alternative. My lawyer, Rachel Kim, saw the deed and burst out laughing. "They built their castle on your sand," she said, shaking her head. She drafted a formal ownership notice, complete with parcel boundaries and zoning references. Gave the HOA 30 days to remove the fence. Linda responded with a child's tantrum in letter form, Comic Sans, gavel clip art, and the claim that community precedent had overwritten my deed. Rachel stared at it, deadpan. "I've seen better legal logic from toddlers playing Monopoly." The fence stayed. Residents started whispering apologies. One slipped me a note under my door. "We didn't vote for this." Linda acted alone. At the next HOA meeting, I walked in with my documents and a mug that read, "Landowner, not your pawn." Linda launched into her usual rant about visual harmony, called my gravel a danger to neighborhood cohesion. "I'd like to speak," I said, standing. Linda stammered, but Ethan, the treasurer, nodded. I handed him the deed and pulled up the county registry on my tablet. "I own the road," I said plainly. "Every delivery, every Uber, every ambulance uses my land." Ethan paled. "This can't be right." "It's right," I said. "Your developer defaulted. My father bought the easement." A woman in the back gasped. "Does that mean we've been trespassing?" Linda jumped in. "His gravel is still non-compliant." Ethan cut her off. "If this is true, we could be sued for decades of unauthorized access." I pulled out an invoice, $187,000 for 32 years of road use. "I don't want this," I said, voice calm, "but keep pushing me, and I will seek damages." The room buzzed. Linda shouted, but I left, leaving the evidence behind. By morning, the fence had been torn down. No note, no explanation. Just my truck, free at last, and my driveway gleaming under the early light. But Linda wasn't done. Days later, zoning officer Carl Tatum arrived, clipboard in hand, citing violations, mailbox height, hedge density, wildflowers posing traffic hazards. I smelled Linda all over it. I let him take his photos, smiled, and waved him off. Then I installed hidden cameras. Within 48 hours, they caught Linda and Carl, 10:43 p.m., faking an inspection, passing an envelope like spies in a parking lot. I sent the footage to Rachel. She forwarded it to Jenna, an investigative reporter known for torching corruption. Within days, the segment aired. HOA president and county official caught in midnight violation scheme. The internet did its thing. Memes exploded. Linda with a ruler. Carl as Inspector Gadget's evil twin. Residents laughed. Then they got angry. We held a meeting. On my lawn this time. I played the footage. Rachel laid out the law. Ethan looked like he wanted to crawl under the table. Linda, he said, voice shaking, you went rogue. Others stepped forward. They'd been bullied into signing citations. HOA funds had been used to hire a private investigator to dig into my background. Rachel presented a petition. Ethan signed. The others followed. Linda screamed about kangaroo courts and bias and witch hunts. Then she stormed off, kicking gravel as she went. But I wasn't done. I installed a solar-powered toll post at the entrance. Legal under my easement. Camera, QR code, payments, collected for maintenance. And I had it manned by Marcus, a retired Marine with a booming laugh and a talent for grilling brats. Residents accepted it. Some even brought Marcus snacks. But Linda, she parked a U-Haul across the entrance, blocking everyone. Screamed about extortion while I recorded. Deputy Larson showed up, saw the footage, arrested her for obstruction. Her sunglasses fell off as she shrieked about persecution. The clip went viral. She forgot one thing. You don't block a road you don't own. The HOA issued toll passes. Linda sued me for emotional distress, claimed the toll was psychological warfare. Court didn't go well for her. Rachel presented everything. Emails, video, documentation. The judge dismissed it, sanctioned her for a frivolous suit, and barred her from serving on any HOA board for 5 years. She left the courtroom in a neck brace. Nobody bought it. Linda tried one last stunt, a sad little protest at the entrance with a cardboard sign. HOA Lives Matter. It flopped. Her appeal was a scrapbook of past newsletters, legally worthless. A month later, I hosted Road Day. Burgers, music, lemonade, kids playing on the now legendary gravel. Ethan gave a speech about respect. I unveiled a new sign. This road runs through my land. Your freedom ends at my driveway. Linda's house went on the market. A young family bought it and brought over brownies. The toll hummed quietly. And from my porch, coffee in hand, I watched the basalt glisten under the stars. Linda thought a fence could stop me. She didn't know her kingdom sat on my road. Never mess with the guy who owns the way out. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful true stories. Your support allows us to keep delivering valuable insights and stories that inform and inspire people everywhere. Thank you for watching Work Story, and see you in the next one.